I had my internet out, as I'm sure lots of you guys saw in the Discord, but enough about internet. It's back now, so let's get to the battles. Hey, Doctor, good to see you, man. All right, and yeah, you're here for the very first battle, guys. It's a beautiful thing. Now, I'm not even going to put it in slow-mo. Let's just go ahead and cover it while in freeze motion here. We got two skin wolves on the Norskin left flank, our right. Up front, they're going to have some skirmish cav in the form of 3 marauder horsemen. I actually think that was 2 horse masters and 1 horseman. Yep. Going to have the infantry line consisting of marauders. Looks like 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to have another skin wolf on the right flank with some Norskin warhounds to support it. Other than this, we have a little bit more infantry here in the back line, going to be consisting of marauder berserkers. And then I think we can go ahead and cover the leadership, which is going to be 2 Fimir Belfiends. One of them going to be the Lower Shadows with Penumbral Pendulum and Arcane Conduit. And then another Fimir Belfiend with Burning Head, as well as Scroll of Shielding, Arcane Conduit, and got that Kindle Flame, of course. Now, the grandpapa of the army, as you may have guessed, is Wulfric the Wanderer. Going to have Hunter of Champions, as well as Fight or Die, Sea Fang, and Foe Seeker. Now, other than this, let's go ahead and cover the Greenskin army here, being brought by Ondjage. We're going to have Mogrim's Magi Marauders and some Forest Goblin Spider Riders up front. Get that early skirmishing in. Going to be seeing 2 Orc Biggins up in the front line with the 8 Peak Loonies in between, giving that unbreakable leadership around. We're going to be seeing some river trolls, and not just any river trolls, but the Swamp Things that cause terror. Happy to see this regiment renowned. I can't think of a time I've seen them in a competitive tournament, so good to see them make an appearance. We're also going to have a giant river troll hag. It's going to have Mither, as well as, is that Doom and Darkness or Aspect of the Dread Knight? Yeah, it's Doom and Darkness. We're then going to have Spirit Leech, Life Leeching, and Overwhelming Odor. Now, Skarsnik is also going to be in here with this Cave Squig Gobla, I believe is his name. The Fermented Fungi and Get Back Here will be his kit. And then for the rest of the Greenskin army, we're going to have some Orc Boys on the wings. And then it looks like we'll have another 2 Orc Boys in the rear supporting the Rusty Errors and some Orc Error Boys. On the far right flank, we do have a single unit of Orc Boar Boy Biggins. So we'll see how they do. In my experience, they do have a tough time against those Skin Wolves, so we'll see how they do here. Now, the battle begins. Oh, did I forget to mention you, Giant? I'm sorry. Don't mean to take you for granted. There you are, you big dumb oaf. Now, I like both players' armies. I do think the Greenskins will have a tough time counter-skirmishing the 2 Marauder Horse Masters and the Horsemen, but we'll see how that plays out over time. They do have the cheap shielded infantry that can go up there and soak some javelins, though, so. Biggins can do very well against Skin Wolves, but we'll see how they do. I mean, all it takes is a couple nice Pendulums or Sea Fang, and you can suddenly say bye-bye to Orc Biggins. And the Orc Boys, I don't think are going to be the best at anything. I mean, they'll probably trade okay against Marauders in the initial combat, but as the battle progresses and those Marauders get their traits popped, the Rage mechanic, then I think it'll go downhill quickly. Skin Wolves going after the skirmishers, pushing them back behind the front line, but then they're going to turn around and start running the other way. Orc Boys are going to dive in there, try to dish out some damage, but the Skin Wolves are going to be maneuvered away deftly. Some nice micro on display by Enticity. Ondjage going to be turning his left flank to face the flanking Marauder Horsemen, so just trying to refuse that flank. And so far, both players playing this patiently, neither really rushing into anything, but here comes a big play. Going to see the Orc Boar Boy Biggins diving after the Skin Wolves, but now the Skin Wolves have pulled away, and instead it looks like they're going to be diving through Marauders as Wulfric the Wanderer comes in. And that will probably go south quickly, but look at this beautiful micro here from the Greenskins. Ondjage pulling back his front line to avoid the very clear damage that would have been done by that. Over here, we're going to see the Orc Boys are getting smashed, and the Orc Boar Boy Biggins. What did I say, guys? It wasn't going to go well, and we come back, and they are gone before we can even get back there. Terror routing, and down to about a quarter health. So Marauders, meantime, have taken close to half health damage, but the Skinwolves are pretty much unscathed. And checking around the rest of the battlefield, we'll see how it's going. It looks like the other engagements are going a bit better for the Greenskins so far. Going to see a Penumbral Pendulum go down here, though. Oh, and that did a number on top of the 8-peak loonies. They are unbreakable, so that's always good. But over here, Skarsnik and the Giant now going after Wulfric the Wanderer. Wulfric running away from them right now, not a bad idea. Orc Biggins defeating the Marauders in combat there, and it looks like they're going after the Berserkers now, perhaps. In the backline, Skinwolves continuing to cause a lot of trouble for the Greenskins. At this point, we have Forest Goblin Spider Riders and the Magrum's Mangy Marauders diving in just to slow them down and get on top of them. Over here, a big burning head going through, looking like that may have been helping trigger the rout there of the Orc Boys. And now the Swamp Things and the Big Uns are going to be running away from this combat. I think that's a wise decision overall. Over here, I hear a Sea Fang, and there it goes. Not going to do the most damage, but it will apply a nice slow to the Greenskin units that are in pursuit of him. But right now, I'd say generally even. The Norskins are taking it a bit in the balance of power, and I would say the mobility game looks like it's going squarely in their favor. But the Greenskins still have some, non-mobile missile power here. And they also have their pocket with the Giant and Skarsnik and the River Troll Hag, all of whom are very, very healthy at this point. So I think the Greenskins definitely have a fighting chance here, but we'll have to see. Right now, Savage Orc Biggins and Forest Goblin Spider Riders coming after the Skinwolves, who are retreating back towards the forest into the safety of Wulfric, I imagine. No, these Skinwolves. Sorry, Wulfric's on the complete opposite side of the battlefield. And now there's some Marauders, and it looks like the Skinwolves are trying to retreat through them. But the Greenskins are having none of it. Ondjage doing a good job keeping that pursuit up. He absolutely needs to get these little pickups if he has any chance of winning it. And it looks like he may be bringing this train right down on top of the Norskin casters. Meanwhile, in a counterclockwise kind of fashion, we're going to see Wulfric the Wanderer coming up, hitting the Greenskin rear. We're going to see Orc Boys diving in to intercept him. Skarsnik and the River Troll Hag are both in pursuit as well. Some Norskin Warhounds and Marauders are supporting Wulfric, but it doesn't look like they're helping him too much. And now that Mither is on top of him, he did get stalled and take some significant damage. Skinwolf's diving in, though. That should allow him some breathing room to escape. Over here, there goes another Burning Head, and this Burning Head is going to go right through the Orc Air Boys and scathe the Rusty Airs, and that did some nasty damage. Right now, I definitely need to see these guys get rid of more of their ammunition, but at the moment, looks like a lot of their arrows will go unused. Giant terror routing the Skinwolves. That's a nice play, and Greenskins may be able to turn around to attack these Berserkers, but the big problem right here is we got a concave crossfire going in, and these Horse Masters and Horsemen are just making a pincushion of the Giant. However, they are low on ammunition, so I doubt they'll be able to snipe it out completely. Over here, Sea Fang coming in. Can the Greenskins dodge? And a beautiful dodge by our Greenskin player, and it's actually going to do some friendly fire on top of the Berserkers, so nicely played there to the Greenskins. Looks like the Greenskins are trying to come over here to support this engagement. I kind of would have liked to have seen them going after the Berserkers, but actually the Orc Air Boy is able to rout the Berserkers, so look at me. I was wrong there, and now it just kind of seems like the Norskins are starting to dominate the battlefield across the board. We have the Hero Squad for the Greenskins that's still intact, and the Giant still has half HP, so still about 4,000 HP left. But yeah, with Wulfric as healthy as he is, they're not going to be able to snipe him with all these other units being able to play defense for him. And if they can't snipe Wulfric, I don't think terror routes are going to kick in like the Greenskins really need him to at this point in the fight. River Troll Hag is got a vengeance, though, going after Wulfric. The Giant now is getting surrounded by Skinwolves, and the Skinwolves are making quick work of it. Is wearing no armor, so those wolf claws definitely hurt. And looks like the Giant will go down from there, and I think the Greenskins with it. But oh, another Burning Head, and man, these Burning Heads and Pendulums have just been used so well. I'm very excited to see the kill count on those casters after the battle is up, but a nice game to both players. I'll give that River Troll hack some credit, though. Boar Biggins are kind of an odd pick against Norska. Their best attribute is their AP. Yeah, Doctor, I agree. I learned that the hard way in a tournament once, too. And, yeah, for me, the York Boar Boy Biggins, they have matchups where they're really good. I like them against Empire. I like them against even some of the Elves sometimes. Like, they have their uses, but against Norska, there's just not a lot for their AP to do. So I think you can save money there. I'd rather go with Trolls over that, honestly. But it's a tough matchup for the Greenskins, in my opinion. So do you want to give some credit to Ondjage there? Like, I liked this build. I'm trying to think what I would change about it, if anything. And I'm having a hard time thinking of anything that's, like, really coming to mind besides ditching the Orc Boar Boy Biggins. And honestly, with that $950 they cost, you can either get another Biggin, you can get an Orc Boy and a regular Goblin, you can get an extra Wolf Rider Archer, and no, yeah, you can get a Wolf Rider Archer as well as another Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archer. The Swamp Fangs, too, is another one. It's like, I'm kind of torn on the Swamp Fangs. I like them, so I want them to be in here because I want them to be relevant in the meta, but I don't know. They're also another unit where I think for the terror factor, there's more cost-effective ways to get it for the Greenskins. So I want to say those guys are, what, like 1,200? So even more expensive than Stone Trolls, and for an extra 300, you can just get another giant. And the HP pull difference is just very significant. So, 3 Marauder Horsemen trying to shoot down 1 giant is one thing, but 2 giants is another thing entirely. Not saying you should go double giant here, but I guess for me, those are the 2 parts that I'm not the biggest fan of, would be the Orc Boar Boy Biggins and the Swamp Things. The one other one that I'm a little bit iffy on is just Mogrim's Mangy Marauders, because once again, the armor piercing to me isn't the most important thing in this matchup. But anyway, yeah, as far as Anticity's army goes, I think it's just very efficient, very smart. He knows what this matchup is all about. I've been seeing a lot more double Balefiend lately, and I like this meta. It makes sense to me. These guys are decent melee combatants, so if you have them along with Wulfric, they both have the armor sundering trait, so they can dish that out on top of enemy units. Berserkers just value nonstop. I'm glad to see at least one. Against Greenskins, I could see like 1 to 3 Berserkers. Honestly, 4 Berserkers, I guess, could make sense too, but depends on your playstyle. And yeah, Wulfric the Wanderer. I mean, it's interesting to see this build from Enticity. Just like every single thing in it is focused on wind spells and damage output on top of large infantry armies. So I mean, really, the best way to counter this with the Greenskins would be to not really bring much infantry, but that would make it a tough fight nonetheless. Because yeah, I mean, between Sea Fang, Burning Head, and the Penumbral Pendulum, that's just a lot of magical damage output, which I kind of like. I have to admit, it's fun to see more offensive magic being brought more often on the field of battle in the current meta, instead of just like direct damage spells and debuffs. But anywho, let's go ahead and watch the next round. But before I do that, let me throw out this army blocker, and we'll continue from there. Also, before I do that, let's run it in window. Or not in Windows. There we go. Get the quality to be a little bit better. And, okay, there's game 2. The score is going to be 1-0 to Enticity so far. Now, looks like we have Vampire Coast taking on the Wood Elves in round 2. Ooh. Vampire Coast versus Wood Elves. Salty matchup. Oh, pun intended. As you know, like vampire pirates in the salty sea, salty dogs. Dad joke for the day fulfilled. And then the Wood Elves for Ondjage. Alright, Deck Gunners. These guys are vicious. And seeing 4 of them here, he's really committing to it. And those things can be very difficult for the Wood Elves to deal with. I'm curious to see how this works out, but the Wild Rider play is going to be pivotal. So let's go ahead and throw it into slow-mo. Now for the coast, being brought by Enticity, we're going to see some Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob making up the front line. I think we're going to have 3 of them. We're then going to have 2 polearms. In the back, we're going to have another 2 polearms, rounding it out to 4, and then a 5th one in the center. Other than this, we're going to have some nice box checkerboard formation of handguns. And then we're going to have 4 deck gunners, as you guys probably saw on the loading screen in the back here. These guys have like 225 or 245 range, so outranges anything the Wood Elves can possibly bring. Can be quite a pain for them to deal with. Now leading this army with the Scurvy Dogs included that I forgot to mention, we are going to have Count Noctilus. Count Noctilus will have Captain Roth's Moondial, Wraithstorm, Arcane Conduit, Invocation of the Heck, the Drowned Dead, Smoke and Mirrors. And this tendony vessel is going to be shooting his shot, and in fact we'll come back after we unfreeze the game to see that glorious cannonball come from his arm. Now it looks like there's actually 2 Scurvy Dogs, make it 3. I love that pick. We have 1 on the left, 1 in the center, 1 on the right flank, and then that leads us to the Wood Elves. Now, starting here with a Regiment of Renown, we have the Wild Hunters of Kurnos. They have magical damage and a bonus versus large, making them absolutely vicious. And when it comes to light cav engagements, so if these Scurvy Dogs get too close, they'll be in for a world of hurt. We'll leave it at that. Now for the front line, looks like we have Dryads, very good at cleaning up chaff quickly. We have 5 of them. And behind them, we're going to have 2 Way Watchers who are opening fire, and right now it looks like they may be shooting at the Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob. Don't like to see that. Very expensive ammunition going on to very cheap units. We have Orion with the Horn of the Wild Hunt, Foe Seeker, and that's it. And his eyes look especially bloodshot. I think he just got woke up for this battle or something. He's just not feeling well. Hey, second dad joke for the day fulfilled. Now, Branch Wraith is going to be bringing Earthblood, Call of the Woods, and that's it. I always want to say Call of the Wild, but it's not that. And then on the far right flank, as well as some units vanguarded behind the enemy army, we're going to see another unit of Wild Riders, just generic this time, and then, oh my goodness, 2 more Wild Riders vanguarded behind the Vampire army, and we'll see how these guys are utilized. I absolutely love this. So, here we go. Wood Elves coming out nice and quick. Looks like Orion coming out, and he's got to be careful. He's in danger of getting sniped down. There's 4 deck gunners here. Now, the Way Watchers need to get closer and start shooting different units. Nobody cares about the Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob. Scurvy Dog's going to be running backward, and over here, the Wild Hunters of Kurnos coming after Scurvy Dogs, but getting beautifully baited. And oh my god, I broke my promise. I didn't start out with Count Noctilus's first cannonball, but whatever it was, his current cannonballs are absolutely devastating the Wild Hunters of Kurnos. These guys just got decimated like nobody's business, and that is a huge loss. I want to say they cost 1,400 at least, maybe a bit more. Over here, going to see the deck gunners getting picked up by these Wild Riders, though, so nice job catching those ones with their pants down, and we'll shut them down very quickly. Over here, diving into the other deck gunners as quickly as possible. Now Orion, who's down to half health. We're going to see Wild Hunters taking down these Scurvy Dogs. But yeah, right now the Wild Riders are just taking too much damage too quickly, and they are kind of the linchpin of this army. And it just looks like the Wood Elves are getting shot to pieces by the Vampire Coast. It's kind of Last Samurai-esque. It's kind of making me want to cry, but no, man, there goes another Wild Rider, shattered. These ones getting a Wraithstorm on top of them. This is Yeah, we won't even get to see that happen. It looks like there was a concession there. Ondjage, one of the greats in this game, no doubt, especially Warhammer 1, but he has been returning from a long retirement. So, yeah, I think right there, just Enticity, kind of flexing his knowledge of the current meta and just really bringing a Vampire Coast army that was viciously effective and efficient. It was merciless. And the formation, too, I just want to give a call out there. He really had the formation set up very nicely. Boxed up formations of handguns and deck gunners. That way he could pivot them more quickly. And, that nice checkerboard formation just allowed them to support each other with fire. Like, if one was getting stuck in combat, the other two would just turn around and start shooting the Wild Riders that were on top of it. But ultimately, my main feedback in that battle, I think, what really cost the Wood Elves the game in such a convincing manner, I think, was just they rushed into it a bit too much. And that's something that's easy to say. And, I understand in that moment, the amount of pressure that must have been on him from just coming into the game, having a Necrophex Colossus shooting you, 4 handguns, and 4 deck gunners. That's a lot of pressure, and it makes you want to close the gap as quickly as possible. But unfortunately, in that instance, it just looks like I don't know if I'm putting it well, but it wasn't a very coherent attack in terms of the units attacking in unison, or prying apart units and complementing each other. It just felt like the Vampire Coast had, at their leisure, opportunities just to be like, all right, I'm going to destroy this unit, this unit, this unit, this unit, and they were just kind of methodically eliminating every Wood Elf that tried to rush in. So once again, easier said than done, and as a third party here, I'm just calling it from the third party point of view, and I just feel like this Wood Elf army, I don't think is a terrible build. I'm not the biggest fan of Weight Watchers personally, but that's a personal preference. And I like higher numbers against the Vampire Coast rather than smaller numbers. But the Wild Riders, absolutely love them, and I think there's a lot of potential there with them. I wonder how Hawk Riders would do here. Armor Piercing could help against crabs. Can chase down deck droppers, probably. Anyways, I'm getting off topic now, but I mean, great series to 2 great players. A big shout out to ODM Enticity for that very clean, nice victory. And to CCA Ondjage, we love you, man. I hope to see you more in the tournaments to come. It's been a pleasure having you back in the tournaments. And also, I don't know if you guys checked it out already, but go to YouTube if you haven't and watch his first match against BBB Chief, one of the other greatest players in the world. And Ondjage putting up some really nice battles there too.